Buenos dias, fuckers. What is he gonna get up to today? Folks, went through a tiny little hole. There are so many absurdities flying around at the moment. Loads of people are lost, including myself sometimes. But I can detect bullshit pretty fast, right? The reason for that is because I use logic and common sense to work things out. I'm being serious. Now, where does one start? Like on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, any of them. Where do you start? There must be something on there that can use a stepping stone. Right, that is bullshit. And then from that one, if you know that one is, you can slowly navigate your way through the maze of caca. Now, I don't want to sound condescending, as if I'm going to teach you how to think. But I want to give you a little piggyback with logic and common sense. There is no way forward without logic and common sense. I promise you. There is no way forward. Without logic and common sense, everybody's just going to bump into more things. Even during the day. Oh, they'll see them, but they'll bump into them. You need to claw back common sense. And it does tie in with logic. So once you start to use logic to work things out, common sense will wake up and go, huh, what am there? They work something out on their own. And common sense's ears will prick up. It will be interested again. They complement each other. And used together, they are a scalpel of sorts. They are probably the most valuable mental tools that we have. Apart from intuition. That's a whole nother ball game. Not now. Got a choice of two things here. For me, they're both slam dunks, right? Speed of light, it's absolute. There is no delay. We know that. That's sun, moon, earth, solar eclipse. There is no delay. Whether the sun be just around the corner or 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers away. It is the sun. It's the light source itself being blocked by the moon. It's irrelevant where they are, doesn't matter. It is the sun being blocked, right? It is not photons. If it were photons being blocked, and it really took 8 minutes, it's so stupid, folks. The sun wouldn't be there. It couldn't be there because of the 2.08 degrees. It's so stupid. It's a slam dunk. When I slam dunk things, lately, there are a lot of repeats. I have thought about these things down to I wouldn't slam dunk something if I wasn't sure. I'm sure if anybody goes back, all of my stuff, I don't think I've got one wrong yet. The only way a slam dunk could unslam dunk itself is if some of the actual facts that surround the slam dunk changed, that they were wrong. When I slam dunk something, I slam dunk it using the facts that are at hand for that particular slam dunk. Even if there is the slightest doubt, I wouldn't slam dunk something. Seriously. I'm being serious. I am being serious. It's the power of logic and common sense. Scalpels, right? That's why they ask people to drop it. Liars and people with no common sense. They're the only kind of people to tell somebody else to drop it. It's like telling people to turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek and no common sense. Okay. What can I do? Seriously, folks. Right. You need a stepping stone. Here's an example. This is what I mean. For me, it's a slam dunk. Speed of light, it's absolute. How do we know? Common sense and logic. Bang, right? This is where you need to understand how important it is. So the speed of light is absolute. I say it's common sense and logic, right? Why do I say that? Because we have the sun, moon, and earth. And there's a sweet spot. It's common sense. To believe that this is not behind the moon, as seen from the sweet spot on planet Earth during the solar eclipse, to believe it's not there, that is just a lack of common sense. See how important it is? And it's illogical. Folks, it's right here, right? This is it. If people carry on believing that the sun has done one and is 8 minutes and 20 seconds away from where it seems to be, 2.08 degrees, you will carry on bumping into things during the day, at dusk, at dawn. You'll be lying in bed asleep and you'll be bumping into things. Common sense. Looking at the solar eclipse, what is it that you see? You see. It doesn't matter if they're close, far away, look, what we see, what we think we see. The moon, boop, blocks the sun. That's it. That's the only thing that's happening. All of this other stuff, this sun's relative parallax doodah, is only one thing. It's a push of finite light. Now, where does finite light lead us to? Bueller. This stuff is so obvious that it's all a lie. There is still a big part of me that believes that one day I'll open the gate to go somewhere and the whole earth will jump out and go, "We've got ya!" Because these things are so obvious, right? This is about finding a definite starting point to navigate through the BS that we are surrounded by. You have to use common sense and logic. It is the only way forward. And you have to use it on a personal level. You have to think about these things on a personal level. It's no good not understanding and believing somebody else, because you'll be right back at the start again. And if that person's wrong, you need to know yourself on a personal level. You don't want to have to follow and believe other people because you don't understand stuff. This is it. Individual thought processes. That's what they fear. Because everybody wake up in the morning and go, bullshit, bullshit and bullshit. And they will be effed because nobody will fall for anything. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but imagine if Earth was all me. They'd have no chance. They would not have a hope in hell of pulling the wool over my eyes. I could see the lies before they open their mouths. I'm not exaggerating here. This is another thing with the speed of light. Science fairs, the Neils, the Bryans, the Brian, the Coxes and the Greens, and the Chuck, how much Chuck can Chuck wood. I look at these programs and I read these people like I read a comic book. I see the private jokes in between them, right? Here's another slam dunk, folks. Remember, I'm 100%. They all know it's a lie. They know it's a lie. They are laughing at everybody who is getting sucked in by the neutrino and everything else. I promise you, I swear to you, they are aware of what is going on. How can people not see the private jokes, the little one-liners they throw at each other, the little chuckles? Folks, you need to adopt logic and common sense again. Because if you don't, these people are they're running rings around you. It's obvious. I'm not making this stuff up. Seriously, I am not making it up. They're lying. They know it's a lie. I can tell. They're laughing. It's a big charade. Same as the moon landing. I promise you. Slam dunk. Honestly. This is the power of logic and common sense. This is what they ripped it out of people's heads at a young age. This is what happens when an education doesn't get a hold of a person and they're self-taught and they seen, lived in different places. I get it, most of it. Motivation, the tampering of human nature. Honestly, I'm not making this shit up. I swear to you. Like a Netflix movie, it really is. The choices are, quickly, right, relativity. C, special relativity. Special, right? Special relativity. Laser, interferometer, gravitational wave, absurdity. Well, put an O, but an A, because it is an absurdity. What else? Other stuff. We're going to put this in a box. Right? Now, here is my promise to you. It's a slam dunk. That box and erase it. I promise you, all of that, it's made up. Just like the moon landings. This guy is nuts! Mum, come and look at this guy! Get your mum and dad to come and have a look. Being lied to. It's obvious. Now, you need a stepping stone. Something to enter the arena of absurdities. And once there, you can use common sense and logic, like operating tools, like scalpels, to slash your way through the BS that's coming up on social media. I see stuff. Hang on. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Not all of it. Every now and again, even I have to think twice. But most of it, I can detect it. I can see it because of what it is. The stuff, the stupid stuff. Now, did I have anything that comes up with this. I promise you, I slam dunk. None of them are smashing particles together, because light is absolute. Whatever it is happening there, it is not the smashing of hypothetical or theoretical particles or neutrinos, any of that stuff, because light is absolute. There's no delay. Folks, it's a slam dunk. Again, right? Light. That light that's on the bottom of my homemade flat earth, right? This here, it's bouncing, it's the sun bouncing off of the mirror. It doesn't matter how many mirrors we put there. If a light source is shining on something like this, it means one thing and one thing only, that it is powerful enough to get here at absolute speed, because there is never a delay. Where's my flashlight? It does not matter what kind of light source we're talking about. If it reaches somewhere, it's reached there at absolute speed. You will not find a measurable delay in between this and the furthest that it will reach. You will not find a measurable delay. You won't. It doesn't matter. You can have people at every meter. If it reaches 12 Ks, every meter, all wide in, and you turn it on, and the person who is the furthest distance away from this flashlight will see it at the exact same time as the person who is closest to it. That is absolute light. There is no measurable delay. The bigger and more powerful the light source, the further. If they were planets, Pluto, and all the ones before, Uranus, Saturn, all the way down to Mercury. If all the planets were in line and the sun was off and it turned on, and you had Sun here, Pluto, all of the planets facing the sun, all wired in to a thumb box. Right, folks, when you see sun light up, hit the buzzer. You would not see a measurable delay in between the person pressing on Mercury, the person pressing on Pluto, and anyone in between. It would be about reflexes. Light is absolute. There is no delay. Newton's laws. Those birds, do you mind? The vision thing. You don't wait for photons to hit the rods and cones, folks. Seriously, you see things at a distance. If I go down there, bang, mirror, sun. I'm not waiting for the photons. I've probably met them halfway. I can see the sun bouncing off of the mirror. I'm seeing the light source. If I step outside and look up at the sun, I'm seeing the light source at a distance. I haven't waited for it to come to me. I'm not trapped inside my head. I see everything in 3D. The grass is green, folks. What are those two birds? The grass, it's green. It's green. There's no waiting. I don't wait for photons to come down, bounce, I look down and I see green grass. If the sun went out, it's still going to be green, just so we can't see it. Look, every time you look up at the sky, whether they're close or whether they're far away, those stars, you're seeing each and every light source in the sky exactly where it is, without any delay, without any stellar aberration, without any actual position, relative position, possible position, and it may have been there yesterday position. You see everything at absolute speed. There's no delay. They have everybody, this Einstein, relative to the observer, all of it, I promise you, it's rubbish, it's a lie. I promise you, slam dunk. These people drive me nuts when I hear them. Science fair, I can just see them, the private jokes, they're laughing. Look, this one, it's a slam dunk, but because of everything that surrounds it, Roma, Fitzo, Wheatstone, Bradley, Foucault, and all of these other people, I understand that it is messing with people's heads, even though you can see the sun directly behind the moon during solar eclipse. There's a part of you that is struggling so bad because it's something you were taught as children. And this right here must be difficult for some people. I am not making this stuff up. I'm using pure logic. 1 + 1 = 2. I look up, sun, behind the moon, the shadow. There is no delay. There is no logical explanation. 2.08 degrees, sun not being there, photons. Folks, all of it a charade. All of it to push relativity. Now, just quickly, Roma, what did he detect? What did he detect? A light delay. What is a light delay? It's relativity. 1676. This was your first nudge. It's just so badly invented. It's just so lame and stupid. When I said stupid, that I watched after I posted it, the seconds, I kept saying the amount of stupid. Folks, it annoys me. I'm not calling anybody stupid. I understand what's happened. You have been lied to from a very young age. People probably think I'm mad right now, but I guarantee you, I'm not. Roma, in 1676, observing Io and Jupiter, just so happened to detect a light delay. Einstein, look, it's all just rubbish. No accurate timekeeping devices, right? It didn't happen. Galileo didn't happen. Nobody spun mirrors. It did not happen. But I still understand that this one would be more difficult. You need to be able to look at these things and go, right, no, it's not a thing, it's a lie because of this. Logic and common sense. You can close a door. The door is shut on finite light. But because I understand the amount of stuff that is linked in with the speed of light, suggesting that it might be finite, we're going to skip the speed of light for our first stepping stone into the world of absurdities. We are going to use logic and common sense, and we are going to find a platform in the playing field of the BS, an initial platform, and we're going to use the moon and the tides, because it doesn't matter what you've been taught, who taught you it, or when it was taught. There are a couple of things here that even, let's not go there. Look, Newton, gravity, it's a lie, right? How do we know? I'm not even going to go for the whole of gravity. The tides, there is no way that anybody should even have a doubt about this one. A couple of facts is, and they are facts, they cannot be ignored. My personal observation, I tell you what, 10 out of 10. One doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I tell you what, this one, the tide comes in, it reaches the top, right? And when it reaches the top, it can stay there, the neap tide, for up to an hour. Now, this is where it's at, folks. If the moon is orbiting us and it is dragging the water around by the scruff of the neck, there is no way that the tide is going to rise anywhere and stay put for an hour. Common sense and logic. It is not going to happen. This is a good indication of where people are at with this, because if you think that it could happen, that there is a scenario where the tide coming in, where the moon is doing what they say it's doing, and it pulls the tide up, high tides, and it stops for an hour, even though the moon's still traveling, where spinning on our axis. If you still think after this one that there is still an opening for the moon pulling the water on Earth, you need to control, alt, delete a few times, because this, it shuts the door. It's closed. It's a closed case. There is no way that the moon orbiting us as we are spinning on our axis, orbiting the sun, that the tide would come up and stay put for up to an hour, between 5 minutes and an hour. And when it starts to drop, it goes back the same way. Folks, this right here is slam dunk material. These are facts, observable. I fished in them. Many of you have. It is not logical. It defies common sense. It is not the moon moving the water. Then we have the 4 highest tides on the planet: Ungava Bay, Bay of Fundy, the Cook Inlet, and the Bristol Channel, and Los Gallegos down in Argentina. The equator is along here. These would be higher up, right? Again, there are so many things. None of the other bodies of water are shifting. Look, this is it right here. This is it right here. This is where you either know how to use logic and common sense as tools, or you're still struggling with what you've been taught. Light, we skip that because of the amount of names and GPS and this, that, the other. I can understand it would be more difficult to accept because there's so much more surrounding it, but they're all lies. Seriously, this one, with these couple of facts, and they are facts, it's obvious that the moon has no effect on the water whatsoever. Using logic and common sense, is that saying that the moon has no gravitational pull whatsoever? Well, it's not saying that, but it is a big chunk out of it, isn't it? If anybody is still somehow believing, thinking, finding some kind of reason where it could be the moon pulling the water, you're in trouble, right? If you cannot jump that hurdle, it is not because of the facts. It's because of indoctrination. It's because of what you were taught early. This could be quite in your face for some people, quite difficult, a hurdle. I don't know. Tempted to do a live. I get the comments. Everybody's gone quiet on this, which makes me think that people, you're really thinking about this. There is no gravitational pull on the water. That does not mean that there is no gravity, but it's a massive one. And Newton, no muscle for you. He is just another roamer. Eyesight, the delay relative to the observer, the bullshit, the equations, the calculus, the crap, all of it. I slam dunk this stuff, folks. It starts with trusting your own judgment enough to know that this is a closed case. And the thing is here, nobody can help people on a personal level. It's no good going to school. Even if I was a teacher and I was going bang, 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 bang. Oh yeah, I like it. I believe. No. We're doing this to understand. It's about logic. Logic. 1 + 1 = 2. And common sense. Don't ever bag common sense. These two together rip shreds into the science. Easily, right? Which is why you were told to drop it. These are facts, folks. These two things here, at the speed of light, that's how fast they work. You can see things, and you know. CERN, speed of light. LIGO, 299792. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. Absolute. It just goes, all of the posts that you see online. LIGO this, light that. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Light years. There is no such thing as a light year. There just isn't. Because if a light source, if you can see a light source, you're seeing it where it is. The reason you're seeing it is very important. It's because it's powerful enough to be detected by your eyesight. That is why you're seeing it. You're not seeing it because it's traveled for 20 years. It does not happen. It does not happen, folks. This could be quite unnerving for people. But slam dunk, right? It's common sense. When you look at the names Roma, you just look at that. Another reason why no accurate timekeeping devices. I'm trying to give people, trying to give people a piggyback here. To move forward in this world, if you're going to make a difference and you're going to stop falling for this crap, You have to learn how to trust your own judgment on a personal level. It's no good going into these things in groups. You think there is safety in numbers, but it's the opposite. Everybody needs to be able to think for themselves, be unstoppable. These people would have no chance of pulling the wool over your eyes. But you need these two tools, because they have you believing rubbish, illogical rubbish, and it's passing as true without the facts. Presumption. Yeah, but loads of people have worked it out. No, they haven't, folks. Right, back to the bang! The moon, with what the tides are doing, and also knowing that any time the moon is above a high tide, it's a coincidence. Because just because there's a high tide here, the moon could be anywhere, literally anywhere. There is no set pattern. There is always a high tide happening somewhere on Earth. Right now, there's high tides all over the shop. There's low tides all over the shop. The moon is only in one place. That's the best way to look at it. It's a fact. High tides don't follow the moon. There's no pattern. There is no pattern to suggest there isn't. And you've got this. Folks, I don't know where people will be with this stuff. This is a serious half an hour. Please don't go over half an hour. 36 minutes. Folks, this is as important as these things get, what I'm doing. We're here now. You've seen all the bullshit. You've heard all of my reasons why not. You understand how I value common sense and logic, and you've seen me use it. It's lethal. It rips into the science. They say it doesn't. They come up with illogical, common sense defying reasons why the sun is directly behind the moon. In fact, it's not there. They're telling us it's not there, but it fucking is. Roma, look, I can't keep going back, but if I have to, I will, because we cannot leave anybody behind. It's important, very important, that people understand it's not a majority thing. I'm not doing this for a majority vote. Individual thought processes. People need to be able to work this stuff out on a personal level. It's the only way. It's the only way. If everybody is thinking the same, nobody's thinking. Everybody needs the same mind that can adapt. Common sense and logic, it doesn't matter what the subject is. It doesn't matter. Your fuel finding it, air leaks, a moon, it closes and opens doors like scalpel. No, that's illogical, it defies common sense. Boom. That one, really, there's an opening there because that will leave that ajar. It's like that, bang, 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 bang. It's absolute. It's not relative. You don't need all of the doors open, and maybe a couple of photons will come in, and you think they're there, but they're over there, because they're everywhere at the same time, but nowhere. Oh! Breathe. Stuff. It drives me nuts, because I can see the lies. I hope some of you see this and it clicks, right? We'll come back after. We need a break. Anybody who still thinks there is some kind of opening somewhere for the moon to be playing hide and seek with the water, Control Alt Delete until you get rid of it. And on a personal level. It's the only way forward. Logic and common sense. It trashes science. It's got nowhere to go. I were told to drop it in the first place? I don't know, do I? I'm trying to help. All right, folks, I will be back 40 minutes. All right, ladies.